Greetings. Welcome to the Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Kendra Grams, pastor at First Presbyterian Church, and today I'm honored to be joined by Tim Puffer of Operation Help and Kris Knott of the Hudson Area Backpack and Food Program to talk about their new space over by the hockey arena just off Hanley Road. So we're honored that they're hosting us here today to both share more about their work in the community and how this new space helps to make that possible to do even more. So let's just start with introductions. Tim, maybe I'll turn it to you first. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Operation Help, and how you came to Operation Help?
Sure. I'm executive director at Operation Help. It's actually the first executive director Operation Help has had, and I came on board about 4 years ago. Operation Help had been around for 30-some years, entirely volunteer-driven, but there were some strategic plans on the horizon that needed a little more than just what the volunteers were doing, so I came on board and have been here for 4 years. If you're not familiar with Operation Help, I can put this in. Our primary service is emergency financial assistance for things like rent, car repairs, and utilities. We also have a resource center here for some basic necessity items and a diaper bank, vouchers for gas, clothing, laundry, things like that. And we're here in this space because we got together with the backpack program a couple of years ago and realized we needed to co-locate because we serve so many of the same clients and use so many of the same volunteers. It just made sense. And that's why we're in this new space now.
Great. Thank you. And Kris, can you introduce yourself a little bit and give us the basics behind the Hudson Area Backpack and Food Programs?
My name is Kris Knott, and I've been with the Hudson Area Backpack and Food Program for about 7 years now. The program has been in existence since 2007, however, so not quite as long as Operation Help. But we share many of those same board members and volunteers as well as clients. So like Tim said, it just made sense to co-locate in one spot to make people a convenient location to access services when they need them.
Great. So maybe going back to you, Tim, then give us the short version of how this co-location process came into being and how you landed here at the corner of Hanley and O'Neill, and maybe how it fits in the strategic vision of Operation Help.
Sure. We started having conversations with Backpack and a couple other organizations before COVID started, saying it made sense for us to be in the same spot to co-locate. And we were originally looking for some space to lease. In the middle of that, we were introduced to a building downtown, the old Norlake building. And for about 18 months, we worked on trying to make that work. And last July, we realized it wasn't going to work. This property was just on the market, so we turned our attention here and put all of our efforts into getting over into this building. We've had to do a few modifications, but it's all coming together now. And the location is actually a little bit better than the downtown. It's permanent space. The backpack has been in church basement space since its inception, or the last few years anyway, and we were in lease space downtown. So having this together in a more accessible place was the way to go. And we're actually still finishing off the Under One Roof campaign to wrap up the support to finish off the building, but due to the timing of the building availability, we jumped on it and got in here quick.
And that's great. So tell us a little bit then about what this partnership, this co-location has already made possible and what you hope for the future.
Sure. What it's already made possible is, as Tim mentioned, we had been in a church basement and we couldn't stay open 5 days a week. We could only use the space when the church had space available. So that was really about 4 service hours a week for people. So if you needed food, you had to come during those 4 hours. And what it's made available is this beautiful space here. We're open 5 days a week, 20 hours a week, so people can come in at their convenience. There's walk-in service, there's curbside service, and then there's home delivery as well.
Great. And I know it's the Hudson Backpack and Food Programs, plural. So maybe just highlight for people who aren't as familiar what those various programs are and services.
Sure. So as I mentioned, we started in 2007 as a backpack program. And over time, we came to realize that there were additional services needed for not only students, but then with the COVID crisis for families and senior citizens as well. So our school of programs still include the backpack program. And then we partner with the Raider Network in the middle school and high school. So we do provide food inventory for those services for the older kids. Those older kids are still eligible to receive the backpack program as well. And then our community food programs, again, it started out as a two-pronged service at the church we were at. So we had a drive-through program, and then we had a walk-in program. But as I said, people needed more service hours, and they needed to be able to access the food at their convenience. And so this is a full-service walk-in food pantry.
Great. And for clarity, those that aren't familiar with the Raider networks, those are programs at both the middle and high school for students who might have a little bit more financial need to ensure that they're getting both food and other resources. Is that correct? You're understanding a good summary?
Yes, that's its own separate nonprofit. So they provide school supplies, personal hygiene supplies, and then we work with them to provide food supplies to kids. The kids can either eat the food at school or they can take it home. Great.
So I think that's a wonderful show, both of how your organizations are collaborating and how you collaborate with other organizations as well, which has led, I know, over close to where the Operation Help is doing their side of the building, a unique collaboration with another organization that is leasing space, if I understand it correctly. Can you tell us about that?
Correct. Our overall space here is a little bit more than we need at this point, just Operation Help side. So we have some office space available, and our concept was to try to create a nonprofit hub so that other smaller nonprofits that were in similar situations as we were looking for some affordable, conveniently located space could co-locate, share some resources, share some amenities. And the first organization that expressed interest was the St. Croix Valley Foundation. And so they've got behind the project, and now they've moved their offices into the space at the opposite end of the building. And over there, we share a community room, which was funded by the Royal Credit Union Foundation. So we can, both our organizations and the backpack program can use it for board and committee meetings, trainings, but it's also available to other organizations outside of us when it's available. It's just a great way to bring people together and share some of the amenities. That's it. Yes.
Great. So are there other, with that space being a little bit more flexible, I know there's been some dreams over time to have others come in on occasion. Are some of those dreams still alive to help even further enhance the services for residents that might need it?
Sure. One of the things I forgot to mention was that we are also home to the Hudson Soccer Association indoor practice turf. They actually have about 10,000 square feet, and they leased this space from the previous owner of their building, and they've continued that. So there's about 10,000 square feet of indoor turf space, which I'm sure families with young kids in soccer are familiar with. But I think over time, the Soccer Association is looking to do some even a bit bigger practice area. And when that happens, that additional space will be redeveloped, and it'll continue in that same theme of nonprofit hub, additional space and amenities for other nonprofits. And we've already had tremendous interest from other organizations. We just don't have the space yet. So as soon as that space becomes available, I'm sure it's going to fill in quickly with other smaller organizations like ours.
Wonderful. So that paints a bigger vision and dream for those that might have a little more trouble seeing how this is going to help our neighbors, our friends. Maybe, Kris, can I challenge you to paint a picture of if someone is working hard to make ends meet, when they come to this space, what are all the things that they're going to be able to access to help them just get that little step forward that they might need?
Sure. I think that's a really important segment of the population for us, especially in Hudson, to talk about. If you're familiar with something called ALICE, that was a report put out by the United Way a few years ago. And ALICE is an acronym. It stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, but Employed. So these families are working. They're working very hard. They work full-time, sometimes 2 jobs to make ends meet. But we all know inflation has been a challenge, especially for people at the lowest rungs of the economic ladder. And so these people are still having trouble just getting by. And so that's where we hope if they can come in and maybe pick up their diapers or pick up some food we encourage families, start with us, get what you can here, and then go to the local grocery store and pick up what you can't find with us. That will stretch your food dollar, and then maybe take any money that you save and start an emergency fund or pay off a bill or something like that to just, stretch your dollars as far as you can.
Great. So they might do that, get some food, get then a few extra dollars for the grocery store, hopefully pick up some diapers, maybe a gas card. And what are some other ways then that Operation Help can help them plan then for the future and get on a little more stable footing?
Sure. We also offer emergency financial assistance to help with a rent payment or utility payment. We help with payments for major car repairs. We have a budgeting class that we offer. In the extreme cases for some people, we also offer a temporary emergency housing program where we're able to put people up in local motels, very short-term, while they're on their way to finding a more permanent housing solutions. These are mostly people that are facing some health or safety risks, and there isn't any spot for them. So we're kind of a safety net for that, for people who need a roof over their head for a couple of days.
Great. So lots going on, this is hopefully making possible, and it sounds like building momentum in the community to do even more, which is great. So for those that are interested, want to learn more and maybe get involved, I'll kick it back to Kris and then you, Tim. What's the best point of contact and way to learn more or get involved?
If you want to volunteer with our organization, visit our website, which is www.hudsonbackpack.com, and just click on the volunteer button. That'll immediately put you into a list, and you'll get a weekly update and a monthly update of all the volunteer opportunities that are available.
Great. And Tim, if people want to get involved with Operation Help or learn more, where should they head?
Sure. We're on the website. The address is operationhelpstcroix.org. That's St. Croix, STCROIX. And all the contact information, volunteer opportunities, phone numbers, and such are there.
Wonderful. Well, it's great to see years of planning and collaboration and negotiations come to fruition. And we wish you both the best, as well as I know hundreds of volunteers and philanthropists and so many more who have come together to make this possible. I'm sure it will be a great asset in Hudson for years to come. And thank you to all of you for tuning in to learn more. I hope you will check out both of these great organizations, learn more about their work as we seek to build a better community throughout the St. Croix Valley. Until next time, may peace and wholeness be with you all.